the Lions. Yeah, usually you guys know it's welcome back to 501 Tacos, the Anime Unks edition. It's your host, Taco Ortiz. His respect. No, fuck the Lions. Fuck the Lions. I turned 36 today. I said that out loud, so kudos to my therapy. But I turned 36 today. Had a great brunch with one of my good friends, so shout Kiera. Took me out to brunch, helped me celebrate the birthday. So I get ready for new adventures and going home to the Shy and all that good stuff. And then lions do lions things. They are committed to the misery of their fandom. Look, I don't actually count myself as a Lions fan, but support because whatever. And they charge you $80 for parking and $120 for a valet at restaurants that aren't even at the venue, but in the area on your birthday, actually. And then they go let the Batman return to town and just pick up business like he never left. Like it's not 10 years from the most miraculous Hail Mary throw from Aaron Rodgers ever. No, 10 years later, he goes and does the same, damn near the same thing with a throw to Gainesville or whatever, and the Steelers are steamrolling the Lions. Last I turned off the game at the end of the second quarter because they're not going to fuck up my birthday. Pardon me, Talisi. But they are currently losing, and let's just double check their score just because LOL, fuck me, right? 29-17 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds left, and they are first and goal. So they might actually get a touchdown. It's the Lions. So again, I must go right back and say, fuck the Lions. I don't care if you get a touchdown. I don't care if you win today. You're not going to get my blood pressure. I've had a great day. I'm 36. I don't deal with this type of toxic stress anymore. This is why I relocate. I don't deal with this level of toxicity unless I'm being the toxic king and putting other people through it. That's a whole different issue. Anyway, fuck you. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of 501 Tacos. I'm your host, Tako Ortiz, History Spices podcast and the best voice in podcasting. Thank you very much. Here, as always, on a good Sunday with my guy, DB. DB, what you got for the folks today? Fuck the Lions, by the way.
I mean, I'm kind of in a similar mindset with my cheeseheads. So I am also in the trying not to let a child's game played at a professional level impact my emotional mood, especially as a Texas Tech fan. But you know, it's kind of hard sometimes. Kind of hard to be an adult. But other than that, I am just vibing, ready for some honest discussions, wrapping up 2025, which was a really good year in anime, as we get into what is probably going to be another really good year in anime. So, yeah, just good vibes, except for sport vibes all around.
Yeah, well, that's not totally fair. J. Paul to get one tapped.
That was, yeah.
I mean, that fight was boring as shit.
He actually took on a real fighter, not a 70-year-old ailing
geriatric.
Yeah, or someone who didn't he like fight Nate Robinson?
Yeah, that was like his first, big one.
Yeah, and Nate Robinson is all 5'4". It's just like I don't know what you thought was going to happen.
He thought he was going to play Tom and Jerry and run around and duck him all night, and Piper came to get paid because once he caught that man, he had a smile on his face. I'm debating which Jake Paul KO punch or AJ KO punch to Jake Paul, I should say, to make the cover art for this episode, because I have one where like it's honestly gnarly. It's actually my screensaver, so I want to bring that up. That right there. Yeah. I'm thinking about making that the cover art with his jaw just, one, it was broken in two places, so he has to shut up twice. But his whole face just got rearranged. He looked like the Crimson Chin last night, or 2 nights ago, whatever. So now sports is bad. The Lord answers some of our prayers. Is he gonna shut up permanently? No, probably not. But
Oh,
uh,
definitely not.
he's got to drink through a straw for Christmas. So fuck him. I'm dropping a lot of f bombs today. Yeah. So yeah. Otherwise, you were talking about anime. The manga the last couple of weeks with Kagurabachi and JJK Modulo has been fire.
Good.
Kagurabachi is literally in the driver's seat, I would say, and my buddy Sam agrees. Definitely with the reveal of um, it's kind of like this double big bad type gambit they're running, where the uh, the main big bad of the I don't say like Yakuza, but the criminal organization they've been going against, are pretty much terrorists, but his body's been possessed by this sword master who is like probably more evil than him, which is kind of surprising to say. But they both have great characterization. So, like, we find out his connection to the protag, and they're actually biologically related. So, the protag's like, yo, I'm feeling kind of loathing for this guy because nobody ever told me we were related, and now I'm hearing him talk to me so like familiar, but like none of that matters right now. I just feel like if I move against this guy, I'm gonna die. Like if I make a single gesture, he's gonna kill me. Like I'm between petrified and and revolted. So it's some great characterization because the big bad Soga really doesn't want to fight his nephew, even though he's like a complete radical extremist who, if you're an enemy, he's going to kill you.
Interesting.
That's why he was jailed for 18 years with like no access to any other person, limited sustenance, and they tried to keep him, subdued for 18 years because he went on the greatest genocide in that story's history. And so, but he has this bond with his nephew where he doesn't want to hurt his nephew, but he's like, hey, if you get in my way, I gotta kill you. So like, please don't get in my way. Like, I need you to just stop, just abandon this. Let me do my thing. So it's some great characterization there, and that's just the surface level. I mean, just even the way he speaks, it's very authoritative. He says a lot with a little. Let's put it that way. He speaks volumes with a soundbite, and I like that type of characterization. I like how he interacts with the protagonist side. He's very casual, very almost charming in a way. And then he's kind of switch modes, and he's like pretty much, yeah, if they're my enemy, I'm gonna kill all of our enemies. It's that simple. That's his mission. Kill his enemies. Purge the world of evil. That's it. So I like it. We got a 2-week break before we get some more chapters. So manga ended on my birthday, or manga. So that's nice. JJK Modulo has been fired. I would say it's probably a 1B, but I'm thinking Kagurabachi's solidly in the driver's seat. But
Okay.
JJK 3 brought back the GOAT, Maharaga. He's the GOAT, and he's like 1 in 4 fights, literally. So Maharaga's back. Now he's adapting to an alien's technique. And there's another alien fighting another one of the protags. One of my favorite characters, Tsurugi, is fighting Maru, the alien protag. Clash of ideals. I want to say that it's a kind of like a parable for this situation in Israel or Gaza, and things like that.
Interesting.
I don't want to shoehorn it into that political narrative too soon. I mean, it has its own, has its own caveats to it and everything, but that's probably like the closest parables, the pre-Palestine and things like that. Obviously, there's more nuance to it. I think it's just if I want to make it a little more broad, it's pretty much the colonizer story. Colonizers come in and then try to encroach their beliefs and ideals onto people, and the people already have like this xenophobia towards the outsiders, and so you just put aliens in it, and boom, kind of writes itself. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's a great story. The story is probably going to end soon. Probably have another 10 chapters or so at that. But the Gege did say it was going to go about 3 volumes, I think. And so we're coming close to, or I think we just ended volume 2, something like that. So, yeah, it's been a great year for anime. Pretty solid year for manga, too. Thinking about rereading Naruto in the new year. I might actually start tonight. But also just broadening my horizons and actually getting into JoJo and some other stuff. So, yeah.
JoJo's is a fun one to start off with, or where are you going to be starting at?
I'm probably going to start from the very first one. Like JoJo. So during the pandemic, I think I watched the very first episode with my ex long-term roommate. And just with many things during that time, just wasn't consistent with it. So now that I'm bachelor again, I have some time. I have like a month off from school. I got like another 3 weeks off from school, and then like 3 weeks before I start work. So in between
Take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, dude! Like between that and relocating and the holidays, just like fill my time with some anime and some manga. So JoJo, thanks, sir. JoJo is high on the priority list right now, along with I think I'm going to reread Fire Force. It's been coming up a lot lately.
The new season's coming out too, so
yeah. So I got to get caught up on that too. But yeah, it's been a pretty solid year for manga. The last 2 weeks in manga, especially, has just been fire, man. I have not been disappointed. Even Chainsaw Man and Dadadan, the last few chapters have been great. So, looking forward to see how that ends. But knowing that the weekly Shonen Jump ended on my birthday today, and ended on a high note, I can live with that.
Yeah, because all Shonen Jump is off for the next 2 weeks, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think Dadadan is in Young Jump or Young Shonen or something. I'm not sure if they're dropping tomorrow. I can actually check that right now. I know that the Lions did score a touchdown. All right, well, whatever, fuck you. I'm pretty sure Dadadan has at least one more chapter. I think they said it was like a 7-day.
Okay.
Children X ended their latest arc, the Tower of Morning arc, ended Chef's Kiss, literally. So Chainsaw Man.
A lot of these are saying new chapter in 2 weeks.
Well, Dadadan has a new chapter tomorrow, and then Chainsaw Man has a new chapter tomorrow, Tuesday. So we're at least getting that. Children X releases something like bi-weekly, but pretty much at Sheeta Sweet's discretion. Excuse me. Even Boruto was Two Blue Vortexes. That was a pretty decent chapter this week. So all things considered, it's been a solid week for manga. I don't have like a deep analysis for these chapters. I don't know if you want to throw anything out there that you want to kind of pick apart or discuss, but I mean, I'm the only real question I have for JJK Modulo is what's new that we're going to get out of Maharaga. And then it seems like the Gojo clan just monopolized all of the top curse techniques and into one bloodline. And I'm kind of curious to what end for the story, because if JJK Modulo does end in another, just say around about 10 chapters, I'm not sure what I was supposed to take away from that. Just being fair, me and my buddy, it was kind of like plotting at first, like a plotting pace to start, and then it picked up really, really quickly. Last few 3 or 4 chapters. Now we have Maharaga the goat coming back. What do we get new from Maharaga? What do we get new out of this character Yuka, who is dying from a brain tumor? Who pretty much she's ending her life on her terms with this Maharaga summon.
That's heavy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions that are tied into these last fights because I'm just curious. Was this a cash call, or what was the intended end game for this? So yeah, there's not sure what I was supposed to take away from that. For Kagurabachi's just cooking. I do think that the hero Chihiro, I think I'm saying it right, Chihiro. He's gotta be humbled at some point. I think he's been punching above his weight class for too long. Kind of like par for the course with this episode. Shout out Jake Paul. And he's been punching above his weight class for a bit now, and I think he has to kind of be humbled a bit. So if his uncle has to kind of chastise him physically for him to realize he's not yet at that level, and to establish to us that he's not at that level and his uncle is that guy, then that's something I don't want to see. Otherwise, I don't really have too many other thoughts. Chainsaw Man this has been a really fun fight. I'm interested to see what Yuru has planned, and I really want people to stop with the cross universe fights between JJK and Chainsaw Man. Yuru is soloing that entire verse by herself. I mean, I was just telling you last time we recorded that she's throwing around islands. She's looking like she's about to drop the move on Denji.
Haven't gotten caught up yet, so I can't really attest to that. So I'm gonna have like a day over these next few days when I'm just off to read. So Chainsaw Man is one of those where I'm gonna be getting caught up in and reading. But other than that, One Piece is my big manga read. I'm more the anime watcher of the seasons, and then Taco's more the reader, the reader extraordinaire, if you will. But One Piece went on its 2 week break. Mentioned that earlier, but it ended 2025 in a place where it answered a lot of questions for the overall verse, as well as it has a lot of us in the fandom doing a lot more of the ha. So it doesn't completely answer a lot of things, but it gives some understandings. So it was overall just a really solid chapter. We got a amazing color spread, which if you followed One Piece for long enough, there's different ways to open up the chapter, and I'm sure Naruto's done it with color spreads before, but this was a really, really cool one, and it gave official color schemes for different characters. So overall, it was just like
nice.
Good. It was a good day to be a One Piece fan. It was a good way to end 2025. It's the best way to put it.
Yeah. So thanks for kind of picking those distinctions. I do have a quick question, but I want to throw this out. Don't take everything I say about Chainsaw Man too literal, because I know you're still not caught up. But
okay, that's fair.
Yuru is effectively launching satellites at Denji, and I do mean celestial bodies in space. She's that's what we're looking like we're gonna get from Yuru. Like, so take
literal
everything I say with a grain of salt, but this power skill just literally it rocketed, no pun intended, to compared to where we were getting before. So I want to say that. But could you speak a little bit more about some of the um, questions that got answered in One Piece? Because I know early in our season you were mentioning either a 3v3 or 1v5, and can you say a little bit more about like some of the questions that were answered? Because I think it was a lot of lore or the One Piece lore that was being unpacked by Oda. If
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
yes. Yeah, so at least in this chapter ending, we got the understanding that Shanks, the one of the main overhead guys, knew a lot more about Luffy's brother, and who that character's father is. So it was more of like a okay, was he on his way? Was he trying to help out? That type of thing. So, um, it's one of the little lores of, okay, did that character know enough about this character to want to help them, or was this character surprised like everyone else in the world? Excuse me.
And is
So you
this Shanks
have,
we're talking about?
yeah, this is Shanks we're talking about. So there's a little bit of lore there. Also, um, first episode, Shank loses his arm protecting Luffy. We all know.
Got bitten off by like a shark or something, right?
So now we're understanding he may have let that happen as a way of no longer being able to be tracked. So there's different things that were just like, huh, that is interesting. So just different, very nuances like that, which were aplenty today.
So I want to say something about that because I did read Romance Dawn years ago, and I always found it weird that Shanks was made to be this really, really powerful character, but his arm got bitten off by a shark, and it just never added up to me. Like, why would this character? I mean, if I could make a comparison, probably Shanks is probably stronger than Jiraiya, but I use Jiraiya. Why would Jiraiya let his arm be taken off by a bear or something when he can quite easily defeat a bear? We know he can beat a bear and probably barehanded, no pun intended.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I always thought about that as far as One Piece, and then I don't know if like One Piece is like other manga where losing your arm really isn't that detrimental because somebody can reattach it or something for you. Um, but again, it always like that was something that stuck with me even as I didn't like do a deep dive into One Piece, if that makes sense. Like this character is like one of the four Yonko, I think. Isn't Shanks one of the four? Yeah, I'm like, why didn't he ever reattach his arm? Or like, why did he let his arm be taken off? Like, I'm pretty sure Shanks could have, handled a shark. So
Would
that
have been
always,
strong enough to take that hit.
yeah. So that was something that I always found curious about One Piece. So I'm glad that question is actually being answered now. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So it's definitely more of a lot of that nuances around. Did he want that arm to be taken off? Don't know. So overall, a lot of good lore. Feels like we're coming to the end of the flashback that we're in, so probably a third way left, and we've already gotten to like 40 chapters, so I think we've got probably a good 15, 20 chapters left of the arc. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's One Piece is set itself up for a really good 2026.
yeah, yeah. And 2026 is looking like it's going to be a fire year. I mean, we're getting the culling games for JJK starting in January. I think it's January 26th, 2026 or something. Um, we're going to see Yuta return in the story. My best boy. I didn't wear my Yuta hoodie today. I decided to wear a, not
Hmm.
today. sweatshirt because Lions are not going to fuck up my day. Um, and so, yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a really, really solid year. That they lost it. They're at 2nd and 10. I think you're in the end zone, but or close to the goal, but whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, did you want to speak about your Packers and what happened there? Because I'm like, I don't even care if they get a touchdown at this point. It's
I mean, there's always that opportunity for y'all, so I never want to take it away, especially as the race. It's like we're officially in the race for the playoffs, but unfortunately, Packers. If the Broncos game was an implosion, I would say this was a meltdown.
mm-hmm,
Implosions are just one pebble falls and then everything falls. Meltdowns are like self-inflicted that
mm-hmm.
just completely unravels. And with 2 minutes left, we were winning. They go to do an onside kick. One of our receivers, you can tell that he doesn't practice it at all, like picking the ball up off of a bounce. And he got it half and then went to fall before he secured it. So he ended up like putting it under his butt and literally holding it for the other team to like come and take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And literally, as he was on the bottom of the pile, his arm got rolled up on, so he couldn't play for the rest of the game. So it was not only did we lose the opportunity to win the game before time expired, going into overtime because they scored to then tie the game up in the last 2 minutes. In overtime, we did not have him, which was a huge detriment on our part. So,
Yeah.
um,
Jordan Love went out earlier than that, right?
Jordan Love went out in, I want to say, the second quarter, like early in the second quarter, took a shot right to the dome, face-to-face tackle. But the backup quarterback came in and did really well. So it was really like that circumstantial. We were in the position to win, and just like that, it was just gone. So, um, coaching and play calling wise, I do think that the coach did the right thing this game. Um, it's weird when he's in the stressful situations that he's not supposed to do well, he does well. But when he's in the situations where he's supposed to do well, when he can plan for it, it's just like you really just overthought this to where you just cut yourself off at the knees. So
I can
it
relate.
is, as a Packers fan, it's difficult because the player that muffed the onside kick will not be coming back next year. He is one of those where this is end of his contract. They weren't more likely weren't going to bring him back, and then this type of
Yeah,
performance in a game was just like it's just no.
mental
So
cap.
unfortunately, yeah. So that's one where like unfortunately I have 2 games left to watch him play as a Packer. If we make the playoffs, we get one more game. If we don't, we don't. So it's one where it's like, damn, man, I really was rooting for you, but it's your gameplay, and I can't say nothing to it. So
Yeah,
tough game. Hopefully Jordan is back by next week against Baltimore, but we'll have to see about that.
yeah. But hopefully it's not a concussion, and he's back pretty soon. I was, it's kind of weird some of these play calls last few games. I was watching the Eagles and the Commanders. I think yesterday. I think it was yesterday,
Yeah,
and the
Eagles and Commanders were yesterday.
Eagles were getting absolutely saved by the play calling, or not the play calling, the refs officiating. I mean, there were so many flags back to back that they were just getting 15 yards stacked on top of 15 yards, stacked on top of 10. I mean, and it seemed like Jalen Hurts was going to just absolutely uh, 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 biff it. Um, but I think he got bailed out more than a few times, to kind of clean up his act, or at least towards the end of it. But I was just
Mm-hmm.
thinking some of the officiating lately and some of the mental gas, and honestly, I think some teams are just catching breaks. I mean, the Commanders, lost. They were down 2 quarterbacks, and they were on to the third string quarterback at that point, who had a 13 and 16 touchdown to interception record at that point, and I can't recall if that was on the season or what. They said he usually comes in and just close out some games. And right on cue, he throws an interception. And it was just like
Josh Johnson.
Yeah. And it was like right on cue he throws that interception and just helps the Eagles, and of course the Lions lost 29-24. So 4th and goal, end of the 4th, and nothing going. So yeah, fuck you guys.
I've never heard of this dude. He is like older than me. Has been drafted in like 2008.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, that it blew my mind because I'm like 2008. I was graduating high school at that point.
It's like okay, dude.
And he's just kind of been floating around, and he got called up because I guess to the first string and the second string quarterback went down to some injuries, I think. And so, again, I'm like picking up bits and pieces of the game. But like right on cue, the Eagles needed a break, and he threw an interception. And I was kind of like, dude, some of this stuff you can't script. Like, WWE couldn't script some of this stuff better. So I'm like, it took me an hour to find parking today for brunch, and these jackasses lost. Like, and they were charging every time I spun the block. It seemed like the price of parking went up. $40, $50, $60, $70, $80. Like the parking was like a nightmare, dude. And literally, they ended up they were just ruining my brunch. I had to wait like a whole extra hour to get my food. And they ended up losing the game. And it's just like, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you?
You put me through all this for nothing.
Like, thank God I'm not actual like bandwagon Lions fan. I've learned to stop letting people let me down and hoping for better out of them. So I'm a bachelor now, so I'm single.
Fair.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I've just learned to take that, and no matter how much the Lions try to dress it up, they're going to be the Lions to me. So, until they win back-to-back Super Bowls, I will not believe in the Lions. It's just where I am with things. I think
that's a safe place to put yourself.
I mean, they got a fucking three-peat at this point. Like, I haven't seen that done in, at least in football terms, I haven't seen that, I don't think, in my life. So, fuck a repeat, three-peat. Like, let me know this is consistent work for you guys. Otherwise, like, I can't. So right now, sports-wise, the only thing that's made me smile, I mean, the Sharon Moore thing got brought up earlier. I was watching, I think, Miami and Texas A&M.
Why were they talking about that then?
No. I just watched the game. I think it was Alabama about to play because they were mentioning DeBoer is who the Wolverines have is the guy they're trying to hire as the next head coach. So I'm pretty sure I just finished watching Miami and Texas A&M going into Alabama, and was it Ole Miss?
Alabama was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Boom. Yeah. So started watching that game. I think I kind of just like dozed off or something, but I remember they were talking about Sharon Moore, and so that was kind of like a little bit of a Debbie Downer to kind of hear, just because some of the narrative is that the students feel betrayed and there's a lot of hurt, and a lot of they're trying to support the students in the community, and it's a bad look. And obviously
they just don't want the kids to transfer.
Yeah.
Let's just call it spade a spade.
Yeah.
They really don't want all that transferring to happen, but it's also like, I don't know what you can do. Like, it's literally sank the program's reputation for the next 2 to 3 years. But yeah.
Yeah. So really, the only reason I smiled for sports this weekend, because even though the Pistons got hit with some bad officiating against Dallas the other night, the Mavericks. The only reason I actually smiled this weekend was uh, uh, Anthony Joshua, as he like was winding up. He had that smile on his face, and he just one tap Jake Paul. Jake Paul literally hit the ground and said, "Whoa!" Like that's what it feels like to get hit by actual active professional. Like the
An
fuck am I
actual
doing?
athlete. Yeah, it was not surprising. It was more of a finally.
Oh, well,
Finally, yeah.
finally, the fight was pitiful, dude. Like he didn't look like he actually belonged in that ring with Anthony Joshua. He did not look like he belonged in that ring with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua stalked him the whole what's
Mm-mm.
name, and he kind of just hugged him to keep him from welling on him. And Anthony Joshua was looking down. He could tell he's trying to do something because he was getting frustrated with it. And I don't even really think it's a knock on Anthony Joshua from not putting him down. Um, before the sixth round, just because Jake Paul literally hugged him and was trying to use wrestling takedowns for God knows whatever reason. Um, but
Because he can't
again,
fight.
no, he can't. Um, but he came to the ring like dressed in Hulkamania gear and had Takashi 6ix9ine playing him to the ring. You asked for that ass whooping. You asked for that KO. You asked for that one time. You're
Oh
begging for it.
boy.
You wanted a free nap. That's what he was asking for. He was asking for a free nap.
Just the Hulkamania too. It's like, okay, you thought
Literally.
this one out, huh? Okay.
Oh, you're fighting a black guy in Miami, Florida. Even if he's from the UK or whatever, you're fighting a European guy who's black. And you wear Hulkamania gear and you have Takashi 6ix9ine play you to the ring. And Takashi looks like an absolute clown, but
Because he
like
is.
he's a fucking joke. But you asked for that one tap. Like you were like, and he knew he was gonna get smoked the moment he saw Anthony Joshua swallowing and winding up. He's like, oh God, he's about to just knock my soul into 2027. Um, like, and that boy hit the ground, said, whoa,
And
and
that boy hit the ground.
man, I can't tell you how much I died laughing replaying that moment where he got set on his ass. He said, wow. And he was seeing stars. The referee's counting. The referee's up to 10. He's just looking around trying to figure out what the referee is. The referee's right here in his face. And he's looking this way. Like outside between the ropes, like he's trying to find his teeth. And I think Anthony Joshua fucked up his teeth too. But
Good.
yeah, like he never needed to be in that. He never needed to be in that ring. And shout out to Layla Ali, or was it Tatiana? I don't want to get her name wrong. I'm trying to figure out who it was, but
One of the elite girls.
yeah, she's the only person being objective and saying like, I don't think he needs to be in this fight, and I don't think he needs to be in this fight, and she said it several times, and she was the only one because I think it was put on by his MVP promotion or most valuable promotion or whatever, and his little deal with Netflix, but it never needed to happen. I
Mm.
literally I was falling asleep like through the first four rounds, and I was getting frustrated because it didn't look good. Layla Ali, I was right. It was Layla
Mm.
Ali. it didn't look good. You got to keep it helpful and humble. And yeah.
Again, not surprised. Don't feel bad.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
felt more bad with the fight against Mike because that was elder abuse, and it was just sad to see Mike do that.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
Karma's a bitch, and Anthony Joshua was 6'6", 248 pounds or something, going against some 5'9" or whatever Jake Paul is, and 217. And yeah, Karma's a bitch. And Anthony Joshua gave everybody what they wanted. It just took him a little longer to do it, but I'm telling you, that was not a good looking fight. I think the only saving grace is that um, Jake Paul was able to duck a few punches, for a while. Um, but once he started getting tagged, the legs started turning to spaghetti. It looked like he was trying to moonwalk and tripping and falling everywhere. He was out of breath. He was gassed. I mean, I think he just kept and he kept his hands down pretty much the entire fight against a slugger. The guy was 28-4 with 25 knockouts, and you kept your hands down, man, down. Like we learned that early. Um,
Early.
yeah, I mean, if you didn't see it, it's it's like the last hour of the Netflix special, and it probably took about 30 minutes to get to that KO punch. I would not suggest that you watch the first 4 rounds unless you just really want to know how bad of a fight it was. I mean, the fans were booing. It was you could tell that the electricity had been taken out, or any excitement. It didn't. It looked bad. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. It He never looked like he belonged in that ring. So when I saw that
Hmm.
punch and I knew what was coming, and he hit the ground and he said, "Whoa," and he was looking around like he was trying to figure out what his name was, his birthday, like he's taking inventory if he was still, if his soul was still in his body. That's
Hmm.
when I got my okay. Thank you, God. You are a merciful Lord. Like, thank you, because I needed to see that. Because he came to the ring in Hulkmania gear and had Takashi 69 playing him to the ring, and it just sounded like nails on the chalkboard. And a huge fuck you to black people. And a nigga gave him a one tap and sat him out and humbled him. So I'm saying it now. I gotta use that terminology. He got humbled. He needed that. Is he gonna shut up for good? No, but he needs to shut. He shut the fuck
No.
up twice. Like so,
This will buy us at least until half the year next year.
yeah. Well, I don't think he's fighting again until probably next fall, if he does.
Hmm.
And if he
If.
does, and it's another boxer, I love CM Punk, but once he got beat twice in the UFC, he realized like he hadn't done that long enough, so he, kind of shifted gears. Um, Not everything is for everybody, and they even did the timeline of where Anthony Joshua was in his career versus when Jake Paul was recording Vines. Um, so like that should tell you something. The kid's like recording Vines, then he's like on Disney, and then he decides I'm a boxer like 5 years ago, and now you're fighting against a guy who's already had like a decade's worth of experience on you. So yeah,
Oh. Yeah. That's its own bit of craziness.
I mean, I was talking to Smitty. Shout out Smitty. We got to get these
Oh,
social
good.
media darlings out of here. We got to get the
As
social media
far
darlings.
as yeah, as far as the boxing no longer became a sport, it became a
Spectacle.
social standing, a spectacle, as well as just just what is it? Just chest thumping, I guess, is the best way of putting it. It's just like, I'm actually stronger than you are, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And it was one where in the 2010s, in the 2010s, like the YouTube boxing and all that, it earned its interest because that was more of the entertainers just duking it out. Like, we all remember the playground, someone yells fight, we're all coming running. So in a digital space, that was really very similar. But this guy literally won a few of those YouTuber boxer things and was just like, oh, now I can actually box. And it's like, no, no. Like, if anything, it showed us that none of y'all can fight. And now you now know what it's like to go up against someone who can actually fight. I mean, that's why the
Somebody
whole
that's,
Nate Robinson fights. Go ahead.
I was gonna say somebody that's not geriatric, by the way.
Mm. But again, that's why like the whole Nate Robinson and Mike Tyson fights were such, again, spectacle, because it wasn't really a boxing match. It was just like, hey, let's just do this for the clicks. It was literal clickbait.
Yeah, that's what it is. Content farming. I'm so tired of that. Like, and I've explained this before with my other co-hosts. It would be easy to make the podcast go viral if I actually cared about the money or the views or the clicks or whatever. Say enough controversial stuff, post it on social media, hashtag explore page, blah blah. Say something just extreme, put a little extra pizzazz on it as I play with the Toxic King, Tako, the artist persona, and then boom, we're viral, and I'm putting out content, earning money, and then that is my brand, and then I become this character of myself. I just don't care enough. Like, I'm not a hobbyist. I enjoy the podcast for the podcast. I enjoy it because it's another avenue. I went to school and majored in creative writing and communications with a focus on journalism. I don't like writing the news, but I do like talking about it. And I'm, maximizing some of my other talents and innate gifts. And again, it gives me a chance to hang out with some of my guys when we're all traveling or apart or something like that. So I get to hang out with you, on Thursdays or Sundays or whatever. And same thing with my guy, Ref Butler. And Ref has been constantly traveling, and so it gives me an opportunity to, speak to the fans and XYZ. But there's so many people that think they are who they are on camera, and that's not really who they are. But they bought into their own brand and their own persona, and they try to monetize it, and good for you. But when you bring that into other spaces, and they call it like the cross gen and the cross brand or whatever, it doesn't always mesh well. And I think Jake Paul is an example of that, because his brother Logan works as a WWE superstar now. Logan's probably a little more realistic because he's acting. And
Because wrestling's fake.
That's not to say wrestling is fake, because the bumps they take are real. But Logan Paul isn't fighting Anthony Joshua, who can, cut back and break his jaw twice with one hit and pretending to be something he's not. Logan Paul is a villainous smirk or just this dork that we all hate, and he gets his heat from that and everything else. So, Logan Paul, even though I still think he's an annoying twerp, is a little bit more realistic to buy into than Jake Paul. So Logan kind of knows his lane. But
That's fair.
You see a lot of these. Even some people I follow and I like their stuff. Like I like Fredo. He's probably much more authentic. He's like almost like a southern version of Taco. for lack of a better word. I like Fredo on TV's content because he is who he is. Versus, there's some other guys who I like their content. But I just question: is this really you, or are you doing this because you have a following now of NPCs and you're just trying to keep them engaged? So, I think there is, and I was saying this to me, I think we do need to, and I think it's going to happen soon. We're going to get to a point where we realize, there are purists who literally do what they do for the passion of what they do. They're authentic and, they live and breathe it and bleed it, versus the content creators who are just there for clicks. That is my Sunday sermon.
I think that's kind of, that's the big thing of where the sport's going to go. And it's not only that, but you can kind of say the same for not all collegiate athletes, but some who aren't necessarily the top tier, but are still getting some NIL money, but might be transferring like 1,000 times and things like that. So I think sports in general is at a precipice of going from spectacle to entertainment to spectacle.
Yeah. I've been wondering why, I hadn't been as engaged with the NBA in like I was in years past, and same with the NFL. And I just was watching a lot of sports, and I've been a lifelong athlete. Always watched NBA. Always watch. Like, why am I? It takes like 19 different subscriptions to keep up with any, one team, let alone sport. And then, I watched this video of Richard Jefferson, a retired NBA player, who, he said he was top 10 in scoring in 2007 or 2008 or something at like 22.3 points. Then he showed by comparison for this year, 22.3 points is like 23rd in scoring in the league right now.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's a 15 spot margin. And the reason is because they've basically softened the rules, for lack of a better word. You can't hand check. You can't, put your elbow in a guy's back to kind of knock him off his space in the block or whatever. Not like guys even go back to the basket anymore. But less physicality, so they can, bump the point totals up for the score, the box score. And when he said that, I was like, that makes so much more sense. It's supposedly 50% offense, 50% defense, but now that scale is way in favor of the offense, and there's pretty much no defense in the game. So, I think we're at a point where too many people expect instant gratification and overnight success, just farming for clicks. I know somebody, one of my favorite podcasters, one of my favorite podcasts with a guy on the podcast said, if you're not clip farming, then you're wasting your time. Yeah, I don't want to just clip farm. I
don't necessarily agree with that one, but yeah.
Well, I'm a purist and a perfectionist still to this day. I'm just working to not let that impede me so much. But I care about my product. I care about my brand. So, I like to make sure that I'm putting out the best, or at least quality content that I can be proud of. Again, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for the clicks. I don't care how many NPCs follow me. At the end of the day, it's what the people are that follow these viral pages, NPCs who want a piece of their life. And I don't care about giving people too much more of me than what you get now. So, again, this is my Sunday sermon. I had a great birthday so far, all things considered. So yeah, at 36, I can definitely say that I enjoy being an introvert. I enjoy my personal time, my personal space, and keep my energy protected and sacred, and only allowing those who are reciprocating and genuine around me. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna keep nerding out, being a nerd. Gonna keep reading manga, watching more anime in the coming year. I gotta get back to watching Fragrant Flowers. Um, and so life is good, and that's how I want to keep it. I want to keep it good and work towards great, and that's what I'm doing.
Dude, amen to that. And a happy birthday and a happy new year.
Same to you, man. Happy holidays. I know your birthday's coming up in the new year. Hopefully, in the new year, we have less. Well, yeah, I could say it's just because government-wise, this world is trending towards hell. Um, but
Yeah,
less
so
content creators and less celebrities and less look at me, I'm doing this thing and I want all your like. Hopefully, we get less of that and more authentic interactions and relationships. So,
I can agree to that. I can cheers to that. Here's to an authentic year, 2026.
authentic 2026. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, you got a rant for me at the beginning and a rant for me at the end. Sandwich in between with some nice content. Please engage with it. If you don't, I get it. Again, I'm not trying to force clicks, but I do like engagement on the content. That's why we're still putting this out to to our audience and things like that. But let us know what you think. Let us know where you are on the Fuck the Lions meter, or fuck your favorite team if they're letting you down or whatever the case may be. Um, let's just double check. And yep, they lost
They
by 5
lost
points.
29, yeah.
29-24, final score. And so again, if you take nothing away from this, just know that when someone shows you who they are, believe them unless they win 3 Super Bowls back to back. And that's all I got for you. DB, what you got for the folks as we close this episode?
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everything that you and your loved ones celebrate.
Yeah, happy holidays. You celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, or whatever your faith or denomination is. Celebrate it and spend time with the loved ones. And as always, fuck the Lions. Later, Space Cowboys.
I can live with that.